Coming to a theater near you, summer 2016. Insidious Chapter 4, The Beginning. Just in time for 2017's Insidious Rising. Then, in 2018, things get crazy with Dawn of the Insidious. Just in time for 2019's... Wait, shouldn't Dawn come before Rising?
Tiptoe by the window, that is where all become tiptoe through the tulip.
Cards on the table, I was not excited for this movie, and oh my god, I could really go for a haircut right now, couldn't I? The trailer showed Part 3 was not going to continue the ending set up by Insidious 2, and I didn't like the fact that they changed the director. James Wan has made it quite clear he knows how to make some horror, and more recently he's shown he knows how to make $1.5 billion. So a change of director plus the not continuing the story really didn't rub me the right way. But then I learned who Leigh Whannell was, and in addition to playing Specs in the first two Insidious films, he also has a writer's credit on both of them. The same thing for Saw, in which he also acted. So I became interested, especially because this is the guy's directorial debut, and I gotta say, this guy can direct. This is a very pretty looking movie that was well shot and has a very good cast playing relatable characters. And on top of all that, it actually has a nice little theme about the death of loved ones and mortality. It's a smart and well-made movie that serves as a memorable chapter in a larger franchise. So, what went wrong? Well, I broke a rule of mine in that before I finished my own review, I watched someone else's review of the movie. And then a couple other reviews of the movie. And I read a couple articles reviewing the movie. Now, I do strive for professionalism.
We're supposed to be fucking professionals!
So these new opinions that had entered into my brain didn't actually change my opinion of the movie. I still very much like it, but it did give me pause in regards to the overwhelmingly positive review I was originally going to give the film. So I found myself in an awkward place that I decided to solve by watching the movie again. But that is enough stalling, so I'm going to speak my piece now. Now, when used correctly, or fleetingly, I should say, jump scares are an effective tool for keeping your audience off kilter, uneven, on guard for the duration of your horror movie, which is what you want. No, if they're sitting back comfortably in their chair, you're not really doing what your genre is supposed to be doing. And again, the first time I watched Insidious Chapter 3, I was impressed at how little the movie seemed to depend on these, and I found myself frequently just obsessed and just blown away by these beautiful, beautiful long takes of just a weird, creepy image on screen that you don't necessarily fully understand as you're first seeing it, but it takes a second for it to sink in and affect you, and then when you realize what is happening, it's suddenly terrifying. And there was so many moments like that with absolute silence, and the silence is what made it scary. Not the movie suddenly going, blah! That's not scary. That's a jump. That's a startle.
There. Okay.
What?
Nothing, sorry, I just startled myself.
But after I saw the film for the second time, it now feels like for every beautiful silent scare, there's two over-the-top shit fests. And that's just not a healthy ratio. Also, there is a lot of just truly unneeded universe building. Instead of just telling the story of this family dealing with the death of its mother/wife and the demon hunting Elise going through a deep depression, there was a lot of time spent connecting this movie to the other two films. And I mean, the movie's called Insidious Chapter 3. And it's got 5 of the main recurring characters of this franchise in the movie. I think everyone is aware of the fact that this is an Insidious film. And I understand that someone somewhere thinks that it's a really good idea to try to Marvelitize this little horror franchise with the Sinister movies. And for the record, I like Sinister. I'm not particularly excited about the sequel that's coming out, but I thought the first movie was fairly underrated. And also, Insidious and Sinister are two very different movies. Like, what the monster in each one does and how it works and how it exists and what it wants to do are very different things. And so I just feel like any movie that has both of those mythologies in them is going to be just a big awkward mess. I'm sorry, but it's true. So yeah, Insidious Chapter 3 is a fun first viewing that really doesn't hold up very well if you go back again. Although I will admit that maybe that's because I saw it twice in 2 days. So take from my opinion what you will. I do still genuinely like this franchise, and honestly, I wouldn't mind one more, maybe two, but not if they're just going to be bursting at the seams with annoying jump scares, just some kind of weird crossover, or just some kind of pointless attempt at being the horror version of Marvel. What makes these movies work is the things that they do that are different than other horror movies right now. Let them be their own thing. Don't force them to be something that they're not. Also, Lin Shaye. She is the lifeblood of this franchise as the bad fucking ass demon hunter, Elise. And so whoever's making the decisions about this franchise right now, hold on to her. The moment you lose her, the moment you lose this character, this franchise is dead. And it will not come back from that. I promise you. And honestly, if Leigh Whannell came back for one of the sequels to direct again, I would be perfectly okay with that. I liked his use of lighting, sound, and pacing that much. For a directorial debut, all I gotta say is good job, man. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how this all plays out. Because as much as I'm against Sinister and Insidious... Sinister and Insidious being combined together into one movie, it has the potential to be just a beautiful clusterfuck. So if that's going to be the movie that we're going to get, I'm on board. But that's the only scenario I see myself enjoying that. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. We'll see. For now, Insidious Chapter 3 is, for the most part, worth your time if you're a fan of the franchise. If you haven't seen any of the other ones, skip this one. Otherwise, go see it. Sure, why not? It's worth your time more so than Poltergeist is, anyway. So, I'll just leave it like that, and see you guys next time.